Phil. Phil.
Alex.
Phil.
Alex.
I
I don't.
know.
This
Here we
is this.
are.
This is well. One, it's happening, but two, it's happening. Like just as
It's
we're filming.
we've been trying to record and begin this show. We've been trying to figure out if a good day to premiere this show crashing out, where we're two dads watching the entire world crumble around us, and we get to crash out about some of the things that's happened during the week. And as we're recording it, the president of the United States is standing in front of a room full of generals declaring war on Americans. I don't know. It's
Yeah. Yeah, wait. Here's the quote or the clip. We can go. America is under. He's saying this to a room full of generals. America
and
is
admirals.
under
And don't
invasion.
forget the admirals. Don't forget the admirals.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Representation
They
matters.
get real mad. We got to represent everybody.
America's under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in any ways or many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out.
Okay.
And that was just a little part. It's happening as we're recording this. So okay.
As that line, by the way, that's him trying to get around the Geneva Convention. That's what that, because like part of it is about uniformed troops versus ununiformed troops. But like right before we started recording, we were like, okay, I came in because I was like, hey, he seems really sleepy today, and this is a kind of insane. Like nobody gave him the shot. I think there's a Biden shot that all presidents get now. That's my total belief because there seem to be good days and bad. But he was up there very sleepy and he kept going about. He's like, "There's two N-words. You can't say either of them," which was a wild. And he seemed wistful about it. That was the part that got me. He was like, he went into a whole thing about how he threatened Russia with 1 or 2 nuclear submarines. And by the way, we're talking about the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. I don't know if we made that clear because
everything. Well, unfortunately, everything's about him.
Everything is, unfortunately. It's very sad, and I feel like this week has been more clear to me that we are dealing with a dementia patient than ever before. Because one, this speech, he's clearly on a bad day. This is, I don't know. Do you have any, have you ever had any family members or known anybody, a senior that has had dementia or has had memory issues? No, I had one. My grandma, especially, both my grandmothers actually had issues. And there's certain triggers that he does that I'm like, that reminds me a lot of my grandma. So it's in recent days, it's been, he'll be asked a specific thing by a reporter. And then he pivots to talk because he doesn't know what they're talking about. So he pivots to talking about the White House ballroom because he knows construction. Like part of what happens with a pivot with people with dementia is they like to pivot back to the thing that they're very certain about, but also something from the past because it's their more recent memory that's the issue. And so watching this speech, I think like he's having a bad day. It's a bad dementia day. But then also he's been staying up real late at night and just sharing AI videos of himself.
Well, so that I feel like that video, it made me go, maybe there is some credence to the idea that they're just lying to him, or like he has a they specifically like craft the information that is getting funneled his way, because a lot of the times I'm like, sometimes he says stuff and I'm like, okay, I think he's lying. Other times he says stuff and I'm like, oh, I think he thinks that's what's actually happening. And I get nervous because it's like I don't want to let him off because of the impact that he is having on so many people and where things are going to be going. But it's so often it seems like he doesn't know what is actually happening, or in that case, maybe real.
I think the thing is, I think he's such a liar that he believes his own lies, and when you start stacking them on top of each other, it ends up becoming like an Ouroboros of lies, right? So like inside of these different things, like there's the Medbed thing is crazy. I'm sorry. This is going to be one of the, there's certain
They're real.
things that, I know.
They're real, Alex.
But it was a video of himself. Like everybody's obsessing about the fact that he shared a video about a conspiracy theory called Medbeds. And for your listeners who didn't watch your show from Monday where you covered this, because I did. I watched your show. And because I enjoy the Phil DeFranco show. Guys, like and subscribe and make sure you follow Phil wherever he is on YouTube. But The Medbed Conspiracy thing, that's one thing. Yeah, and that's crazy. If a normal politician, right, if a normal congressman, if a normal governor shared a Medbed video, okay. But we're glossing over the fact that there was an AI video of Donald Trump himself saying medbeds are good and real, and that he has signed legislation giving everybody medbed tickets or whatever it was. And then his daughter-in-law is in the video, and he was just like, I guess I did that. That sounds like a thing I'd do. I sound like a good president. What a time. And he just hit, like, he just hit send. And like the question I keep having between this and then last night with the Chuck Schumer, the Chuck Schumer Hakeem Jeffries sombrero video, where are these coming from? I don't think Stephen Miller, okay, Phil. I don't think Stephen Miller is.
We disagree on this.
I know we do. I don't think Stephen Miller or Caroline Leavitt are making these on Canva and then sending them to him. You know what I mean? Like, I think he is deep Facebooking. I think he's deep in the Facebook. He's deep on some form of social media. And then I think he's also just like, he's responding to reply emails. Like, people are like sending these in like chain emails to him. And he's like, that's funny. My question is, how is he downloading them onto his phone and then re-uploading them? Because I often can't figure out how to do that. Is he screen recording them? Is he using SnapTik? I want to know.
I like to imagine he went into his settings. He's like, okay, I got to do this for screen record, make sure that I can get the audio. No, I think that they have like a bunch of they brought in chronically online meme lord people. Is why you got the Studio Ghibli things, the fucking DHS putting out Pokemon gotta catch them all videos.
But those are official tied in through the White House. Like, these are being put on his personal Truth. So like no one can ever take the Truth Social account is Grandpa's car keys. No one has ever taken it's his secret car keys. No one has access to it. It's just Trump. He owns the company. It's the Twitter handle. Somebody can come in and just like tweak the two-factor. The White House Instagram, somebody else is controlling that, right? Like, all these other different things, like, and I understand the meme lords and the edge lords that are over on those things, posting Theo Von 2 million vid people and all that different stuff. Like, I understand those are scarily people who were children when Donald Trump first became president, who are now in their mid-20s and being paid six-figure jobs to post. We're not going to go into what I think those are. But that's one thing. He's not posting those. He's posting some weird shit that my uncle would be like, that's right and true. He's posting Photoshops that look bad. The sombrero vid is crazy. Like, it's just crazy because I also don't know if he noticed the sombrero. I think he heard.
Stop.
I don't know. Phil, he just said he invaded Seattle. We have no troops in Seattle. Like,
maybe we did, and you just don't realize it.
Maybe
maybe it was like a Bay of Pigs situation.
He in the speech that he is giving as you and I are talking, because I listened to a little bit of it before we hit record. He at one point talked about how he sent one or two, maybe it's classified, maybe it was two nuclear submarines to Russia. And then we have to just be like, what's the stock market look like today? Like, that's where we are, though, as a people. I think it's the part that's terrifying.
Yeah, I just went to his Truth Social account because I was like, let me see what it is. This is okay. So I haven't been on. Usually, most of the time, I get like a screenshot of Truth Social, or I'll go over there really quick to confirm something. The feed is insane because I didn't realize feeds have ads in between them. So it'll be like something Trump posted, and then I'm going to send you a screenshot, a picture of like a parasite coming in from a mole, then a Trump meme.
What?
Then it's like an AI photo of the YouTube CEO giving him a $24 million check. This is crazy.
Wait, did he Elon himself with his own, or did Trump Elon himself by getting like high on his own supply of the weird paranoid propaganda that he was trying to push to people? Or did Elon Trump himself by making Twitter so similar? This is what I want to know. I've never actually been on True Social. I've never actually looked at the feed.
The only reason to ever really go over there is just to see if he actually said a thing, right? Because it'll be
Gotcha.
like, oh, Trump said this, and then it's like, oh, wait, 1 second. And then you can also see like the interactions, but kind of like on I know that you don't want to call it X on Twitter.
I call it Twitter. It's fine. I'm hearing more and more people call it X. I hear more and more people
I go
call
back
it
and
X.
forth. The problem is there's no X post. It has no oomph. There's no I X'd. That's the thing that I think keeps it from. It's a tweet.
Tweet was a bar. Well, that was the thing with the Medbed video, right? So the part that's so funny because on True Social, they're not called tweets, they're not called posts, they're called truths, right? And so when he deleted the Medbed AI video of himself and his daughter-in-law saying words they never said that he thought they said, if you go to that page now, it said this truth has been removed. So he's just removed,
that's
and which
beautiful.
is hilarious coming from the alternative facts guy, right? Like, because again.
But that's what makes me think that there's other people involved, at least even on that personal feed, because this is not a man that I think in the face of anything takes something down.
I don't know. No, because here's the thing. I think he wouldn't have I think this was a situation where the family came in. I'm going to be dead serious about this. I think the family came in and like Eric called him and he'd be like, Dad, my wife never said that. And like, I think that is really what it came down to, is somebody being like, Dad, I know, Dad, I know. But listen, you made Laura really mad. And when Laura gets mad, she starts singing Tom Petty songs, and that makes everyone upset. You know about that, right? You know about how
I've just seen the random singing. I'm like, what is happening?
Laura Trump has released like multiple covers of Tom Petty's "I Won't Back Down," and they're all ass. They all sound like AI as well.
If you're gonna take a swing, there's nothing wrong with some Petty.
I know, I do love some Tom Petty. I just don't love what she is doing to him. But God forbid a Trump not disrespect a corpse. Let's move on.
We can move on because Trump still hasn't. He's still talking.
Is he still talking?
Yeah, I'm scared to see what he's said since, especially because we're going to release this tomorrow, and people I can't believe you didn't talk about what he talked about, the aliens, and I'm like,
Well, it depends. When he says aliens, I don't know often if he means in the sky or at the border. Like, it's just he just talks in these
same
weird
with
ways.
asylum. You're like, I don't know if you know.
God. Yeah, I know that he doesn't know. He thinks it's literally Hannibal Lecter. But the one thing I will say about this speech is like there isn't that much that's shocking in it. Because and you and I were talking about this before. You've had to watch so much Trump speeches because of clipping and doing content for the show, and I've watched them for so long. I feel like it's very much, to me, Donald Trump has turned, being a new dad, Donald Trump is like watching your kid grow in this really weird way, where like you don't notice that the kid has gone from 26 inches to 34 inches or like these certain things until Apple, my phone, is like, oh, by the way, here's a throwback to your baby last year. And I'm like, he wasn't even walking. Oh my God, so much time has passed. And I feel that same way now. If you go watch 2017 Trump or Trump v. Hillary debate, right? Like, that is a peppy guy. That makes sense. Okay, I can understand a little bit why you're falling for it. Like, everything else now is like this is Grandpa Trump. But also the things he's saying are the same things he said during the campaigns. We're being invaded from within. I call them homegrowns. He's been saying this the whole time. So that's the part that gets me when people are suddenly shocked. Because I'm like, it's been maybe people haven't been paying attention, or maybe it's been one of those things of like you just didn't notice the build. And so it's like you looked away and then you came back. You're like, oh, why is the water boiling all of a sudden?
But what was it? What did you want to move to?
Let's talk about the Saudis.
What do you want to say about the Saudis? The people that are actually sponsoring today's show.
Oh, no. The Saudis have bought this show as well. Is this
already
our big sponsor?
Yeah.
Our opening sponsor. We already are immediately being like, guys, Riyadh season is here. And make sure that you hop on a plane directly over there where you can have a great time. You can see such comedians as Guy Who Said He Can Say Whatever He Wants and No One Can Stop Him. And dude who is just facing a lot of charges. Anyway, no, I mean, right now there's a lot of people who are very upset about Riyadh, the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And I know that it's kind of shocking to me because I first heard, as somebody who's in the comedy spaces, I first heard about Riyadh. and this comedy festival back in like July. Like Mark Maron was talking about it. Stavros was giving Chris DiStefano some shit about it. Like I've seen clips about this going for a bit. I think the part that's shocking to me is that like there didn't seem to be that much major pushback like across the board until this week. Like right as it starts. Like some of these guys, I saw a couple guys that kind of like backed out a little bit early, right? Like a few people were like, the last minute they kind of pulled out. But like the comedy feels like one of the last areas that they're trying to buy up, right? Because they're in golf, live golf. They got NFL flag football. They've been buying up esports teams for a while now. The big thing has been esports. Right. The Saudis are big investors in X. They were big side investors alongside with Elon. They just bought WrestleMania. They have deals. Yeah, they're at WrestleMania, I think 40.
That was news to me.
Yeah, WrestleMania 43 is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow. Okay.
They're doing 2 years of Vegas. They did Vegas last year, Vegas this year, and then next year is going to be in Saudi Arabia. And that was a very, very big deal. And they've also they've had a bunch of the streamers. I mean, I just saw KSI, iShowSpeed, and Mr. Beast all doing ads for Riyadh season. They seem to be, a lot of people are talking about like sports washing, entertainment washing, but it's hard to, I think a big part of it is just trying to integrate themselves into the wider culture. And right. I think we're seeing pushback on that because they're trying to integrate into the culture without letting culture integrate as much into them. Because I remember when WWE was one of the first to do a big major Saudi event, and they have a thing. Do you follow WWE at all?
A little, but what is the thing that they do there?
They call it. It was called Crown Jewel, but they also had like the Greatest Royal Rumble and a few other things where they. It was back when Vince McMahon was still running the company. He signed a deal with the House of Saud, and they went and they put on a big major show. And it was a way to show other entertainment companies and other sports companies like, hey, look, they're willing to play ball. The part that's crazy that many people forget is there was a moment where like it very much felt like the Saudis were kidnapping an entire plane full of wrestlers over like a fight. Did you ever hear about this?
No, I thought you meant like metaphorically.
No. They did the show, and they were supposed to leave, and the Saudi government and their security forces wouldn't let the plane leave the tarmac for a bit. And there was like a weird negotiation between Vince McMahon and the Saudi government to release. And it was like, it actually it's been referenced by a bunch of different wrestlers over the years as one of the reasons they left WWE, because they were like, dude, you nearly let me get abducted by the Saudis. Oh, and like, wow. I remember when this happened. It's such a crazy moment. It was also just pre-COVID. So it's one
nearly
of those
200 stars and their entourages waited on the tarmac for 6 hours as speculations swirled that Saudi Arabia owed the WWE. What the hell?
Yes, it was a whole like money fight, because there was also some other issues with like the feed and like things that were going out, and like they've since really smoothed everything over. But the
Telegraph said the WWE blames mechanical issues.
Yeah, but every wrestler was like, bro, we watched literally like soldiers surround the plane. So like,
wow.
But this has kind of been like how this story has been building for a very long time. So now fast forward till yesterday, where we now have Saudi Arabia, Jared Kushner, and Silver Lake purchasing EA, which I made a video about. I think these are big moments. I think these are big moments that we're seeing this White House and some big money tech billionaires especially beginning to partner with authoritarian governments and like trying to, because they want to get inside of those markets. And I think they're thinking that, they think I can do a little bit of evil. I can partner with this guy who I might not agree with 100%, and that'll be fine because eventually they'll turn like us. When I think it's when you merge two cultures together, like it goes both ways. And I think the culture of the House of Saud and the corruption and those different types of things and how they do business, I think is going to corrupt more and more and more of how we look at things. I mean, they've have huge censorship on many of the things. Going back to Riyadh Comedy Festival, they had to sign a contract that said that like of a list of no talk zones. Like, these are things we can't talk about, including religion, but including the local government, including all these different things. I think that's terrifying that so many of these, especially these podcasters like Andrew Schultz and others who stood there and said, I'm being silenced, the woke mob, all these different people are coming after me. But if you show up and you give them $1.6 million, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. So I was a little torn on this because it felt like the people that are going to take the biggest hit from this are the people that where it was like kind of surprising. Because if you look to like Schultz's comments on Instagram, no one was surprised that he went. They were like, everyone's like, hey, obviously Schultz is going to go for his bag. And like same with Kevin Hart. And I mean, there were a number of people that were surprised by like Louis C.K. and certain people here and there. But I mean, to something that I touched on is like, I was surprised about Bill Burr. And I feel like for a lot of people, he's kind of become the face of it. And I end up having this weird torn, conflicted thing where I'm like, are all the people that have kind of known questionable or shitty behavior getting a free pass because of the people that have like the big spotlight where it's a surprising thing? Because a lot of those people that were, I mean, to Shane Gillis months ago saying, oh yeah, everyone's saying go do it. Like there is an idea of safety in numbers. Oh, everyone's doing it. There's bigger names. And so then that also made me feel a little bit conflicted when I saw, I've only really ever seen him on TikTok, that comedian Nimesh Patel. He talked about how kind of before it really blew up, he had backed out and he was getting a lot of shit and he was trying to explain why he did it. And I was like, his video rubbed me the wrong way because it felt very passive aggressive and kind of like, fuck you guys. And there was part of me, I always try and come from a place of like, okay, let me see where he's coming from. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of see maybe how he could feel a certain way. Like he's like, all these fucking other bigger people that have so much more money than me are gonna be able to do this and get away with it, quote unquote. And I'm gonna take this biggest fucking hit because I actually changed my mind. I actually maybe I have like a different audience that holds me to a higher bar than all these other people. And so I'm gonna take this hit that 90% of these other comics aren't gonna take. That said, you can feel like that, and whether you think that's justified or not, communicating it, such a bad look. Such a bad look.
That was the part that was shocking as somebody who does stand-up comedy and as somebody who does social media, and like especially short form, because he does a lot of short form. Most of his is clips of his stand-up, is the fact that he said the most unrelatable thing I've ever heard. When he was like, instead of doing one Saudi show, I'll do 40 shows in Donald Trump's America. I'm like, what? So you just told people, hey, I was going to not perform. I was going to not work. My whole goal was to not work this year. The one thing my wife and I have been talking about a lot, because with Bill Burr was like a shocking one until I saw his wife's Instagram, which, girl, get that money. She, like, they're going on a lot of trips. They're doing a lot of different things. And like, as somebody who has been this is the one thing I hate in comedy, right? In comedy, a lot of comedians will be like, oh, the civilians, especially like the Joe Rogan sphere guys, are always like, oh, there's comedians and there's civilians. I'm like, first thing, you're not in the military because you're not currently deployed in Portland. And then second thing, like when you are a comedian who has a partner who isn't on stage, isn't is the person who has to stay at home, or is the other person, like, it's very similar, especially if they've been with them for a long time. It's very similar to when you have like somebody who goes to medical school while their spouse works, right? That's very much in the same vein of, I supported you while you were doing open mics. I supported you while you were on the road featuring. Now you have the show, all this different stuff. Like, I put an investment in you. I should see the return. So when I saw like Bill Burr, I was like, my wife and I said it, but like, she saw the number. She saw like what the number was and was like, are you you're going to turn down, I'm sorry, one show? Here's the thing. I don't like this. I don't like the, no, I don't like the, I don't know her. I don't follow her feed. I do not like the putting shit on his spouse. But Chris DiStefano said this exact thing about his own wife, about he did on Two Bears, One Cave.
Could it be that he's also a pussy? Is that a possibility?
100%
That he's
too.
How many guys do you know that are like, my wife won't let me, and you're like, be a fucking human being?
I'm saying though, these are the excuses they make in their own head. It's
Sure.
like these are the types of things that can go down that route. I'm not saying that she's the one who definitely was like, you need to go perform for the House of South, but I'm also saying like there's a moment when you're looking at those type of money and you go, oh, it's one day. Like they're not viewing it. These guys also are clearly the parasocial relationship that's been created by social media and
Sure.
by how all encompassing we are via podcast, via short form video clips, YouTube edits, all these different things that have come together, give people a belief in how much they know a person. Right.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people with Burr, especially, they feel betrayed because they have a headcanon idea that he wouldn't do something for a certain amount of money. Jim Jeffries is another one that I felt I thought Jim Jeffries would be smarter than this. But then there's a secondary part of it where it's like you betray, but also like, I thought you'd be smarter about your own brand. Right? Like
but this is gonna pass though. I mean, there, you have the David Crosses out there saying like, we have to like, we have to be able to be like, we can never look at you the same again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am of a mindset of, Bill Burr, who people are out there calling him like the Beantown bullshit artist, and Billy Burka right now. It's gonna slide past if he can think of like 3 quick rebuttals that get a room to laugh, and then it goes away, especially with how much shit's going on. So I think maybe for some of them there was pure ignorance. Maybe for some of them it was a calculated risk. I get a little squirrely with trying to like project intent and like mindset on these guys, but I don't think they're going to be damaged as far as mainstream success. I will not, and people can think it's rightly or wrongly, and I think there's a lot of false equivalencies getting thrown around. I won't be able to look at a lot of these people the fucking same. Once again, I felt even weird using the word. I was like disappointed because it's not like I'm fucking Bill Burr's dad or anyone, and I hate when people say that regarding like an opinion I have. But I mean, it's just something that's going to be it's kind of like tainted a lot of people for me.
Well, I think what it really is doing between this and the amount of the comedy podcasters that endorse Trump, I think it is starting to reframe how people view comedy. As there's a lot of people who really want to believe comedy's not political, when like every joke is political. Like there's everything. Like I always come from that frame point where I think everything at the end of the day speaks to where your ethics are, where your morals are, it's literally a view of the world. Like people laugh at jokes because oftentimes they're hearing a different view of the world in a way that they haven't perceived it before, right? And so a lot of people have been going down this route, whether it be Joe Rogan, Theo Von, Andrew Schultz, or any of these other different guys. And few of them followed them down their endorsement of Trump. Others of them are like, okay, I followed you down this route, but maybe going to Riyadh is too far. Maybe doing this other thing over here is too far. And I think that's the part that is going to be interesting, is how much longer the stand-up philosopher is considered. Because I think that's where we're at. Like, I think that's where the breaking point we might be at as a culture is like, at the end of the day, we were holding these certain stand-up comedians to a much higher degree because they put out one or two, one special every 2 years or one of those type of things. They're entertaining me on our podcast, all this different stuff. When at the end of the day, how is a stand-up comic getting up in front of a room or a theater? How are they different than a YouTuber besides an audience and extra cameras? I just was watching, I saw a clip of John Oliver the other day when he was talking about the difference between him and a streamer is he's in a more expensive room. Like that's a fair point. Like we're in a period right now, especially with the internet and especially with the growth of phones, all these different things, where, hey, do you want to become an influencer? You want to become a content creator? The bar is a cell phone bill. Like I think we've talked about this before, but like the bar of entry is getting lower and lower and lower every single day. And so the fact that a bunch of these guys were like, I'm gonna take this check and also not view it as a cash out is, I think, the part that's kind of shocking. We're also seeing like a little bit of tear back on like arena comedy, where like there's Shane's doing really well, but we're seeing more and more of like people are getting tired of going to arena shows. They want to see smaller venues. They want to get it more intimate. They want to feel more like the person is talking to them and they're not just watching a projector. So I think that there's something coming with that.
Yeah, there could be a change. I mean, I think to your point with the bar being as low as it is to get your foot in the door, there might be a bigger taste of for like that new person. The question though becomes like, how many times are you gonna get disappointed? Because there's a lot of like talk about like what people will do when they're like coming up for money. But what I've found, and I think what you kind of see with this situation, is getting money turns a lot of people into whores. And it's like they gotta taste, and it's like, okay, anything and everything to make this work. But what I found also interesting was there were some people that were like, they were bothered by their perceived like morals and ethics of it, and then some people were just like, for 500K, you're gonna do it for 500K? They're like, isn't Ronaldo getting like almost $250 million a year? Like that's blood money. You're going for blood peanuts. I'm like, I'm bothered by that not that you were a whore, but your price was so cheap.
Yeah. There is. It's the old. It's the old. You know, everybody who's ever been on the back of a school bus has heard that old question of like, what would you do for like $100? You know what I mean? Or $1 million? Yeah. It's one of those, and it's like the guy who comes in like, I'll do it for the love of the game. You're like, whoa, that guy's crazy. Like there is nobody. It would have been very funny if there had been a comedian who was like, listen, they're paying me an exposure. I heard this is going to get big numbers.
I was just open micing.
Yeah, this is no. Listen, they said, how often do you get to say you're going to open for Dave Chappelle? You know what I mean? Like, I get to put that on my resume, and then I get to do the Ohio Funny Bone. Like, that's definitely a part of it, which is just so wild.
What a great time to be like a comedian that went to that, where you're like big enough to go, but not big enough to be on the poster. Where everyone else is taking the shots and you're like, fuck, you're just staying quiet in the corner.
Oh God. Well, that was the thing, is there was a while I had heard, there's also rumors that were going around. I had heard that, you know, Pete Davidson's going, and I had heard for a while that he had backed out. And then I was like, apparently that's not true. But like, again, there was just like rumors that were going around. So I didn't know, because you said Patel dropped out. And so I was like, I'd heard like some people pulled out. Tim Dillon got fired. Hilariously.
I love the conversation around that, because some people are like, he said the stuff that he said because he wanted to get fired and he could keep maybe a deposit or something. And I'm like,
he was trying to excuse the fact that he was doing it and trying to see if he could get away with it. Like that was, he got a double dip on that. Like that's 100% where that comes from. Like I've done those before. I'm currently in a fight with a brand deal right now where I'm just like, no, I'm posting the video the way I want to post it. And they're like, we don't want you to do this deal. I'm like, then I'm not doing the deal. And then they're like, okay, but let's talk about the video again. Like there's sometimes when you're in that creative space and you're stuck between creative and money, and you're like, yeah, I want the money, but also I'm not going to say it that way. And like, that's where the fight really comes down to me. And that's why it's shocking. Like, you're right. Like 500K to not say something for a comedian is terrifying, because the second you tell me like, don't say this word, I'm like with the Epstein stuff, when all my Epstein videos started getting pulled on TikTok, I was like, I couldn't think of anything else. It was my pink elephant. That's crazy.
Do you feel like weird at all, or like any sort of pressure or concern even talking about this though? Because like when I was watching the Patel video, I felt like he almost wanted to be like, this guy and this guy and this guy are getting the money, but because it's even like navigating the comedy world seems so political, where it's like you rub someone the wrong way, all of a sudden you're not getting on podcasts, you're not getting stage time or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
Or you just, because you're in a different world, you don't really.
I'm disconnected. I'm disconnected from everything. So like I can book a show, I can book a club if I want to book a club, and I did last year. I did a tour, and I'm actually going to be opening for Walter Masterson at Helium in Philadelphia pretty soon. You know, just like I still do stand up, but I'm not out here trying to book theaters. I'm not out here like, I want to go on other pods because I want to have fun and I want to tell them about the pods that I'm doing. But like, I never like that. I never like that idea of like, oh, don't say this thing. I'm like, well, if somebody's being an idiot, then why do I want to associate myself with an idiot? Like that's the thing that I always like have kind of viewed it as, because it was the same thing with like years ago when I saw a lot of these podcasts, like Platforming Alex Jones. I was like, why would you want to associate yourself with InfoWars? Like he is, at that point in time, he was being actively sued by the parents of dead kids for lying about them. Like, and you guys are like, oh, this is funny. He's going to say all the frogs are gay. and we're gonna have him drink on our show. I was like, that's a weird thing to want to do. But it's like the one thing I've been saying on my show Too Many Tabs a lot is, and it's been of truth. And actually, I think Bill Burr said it. Stand-up comedians are cowards. Like we are cowards. Like we seem brave in front of a room full of people because we have a light on us and a microphone. But at the end of the day, like if you physically confront a stand-up comedian, like if you're standing next to him at a bar and turn to him and be like, by the way, your joke sucks. You know what they'll do? They'll go, oh, sorry, man. I didn't know that referenced your family. Then they'll immediately shirk, and then they'll be like, I got to get out of here. They'll always run away. They just run away. They're all cowards. So that's the thing. It's an act.
I never really thought about it that way. I don't know.
No, you never thought about it that way?
No.
From all the years of I guess it's different. But I'm saying for all the years of being a content creator, and like all the different content creators you met over the years. Like there's kind of a character you play into a camera for a lot of people. It's that same thing as the character you play. Not you.
Okay, I was like, I'm me. No, I mean, everyone's fucking always nice in person. Everyone's always like, no one's ever been confrontational in person. But I also don't go to things anymore. Like but it came from a standpoint of
you went to one thing last year, and now we have this show.
Oh,
you went to the DNC, and now here we are.
Which I was like, if I'm ever gonna go, I was like, it has to be this one because it's so unconventional and so fucking haphazard. And let's see, I need to see what it was. And going to the DNC was very, very interesting because for anyone that thinks like I in any way am some sort of fucking Dem insider, I was like the most fucking outside creator there. I felt like everyone knew fucking everybody and everyone was connected to everything. And I'm like, do I have seats? I was like, I had to go around the system to book fucking interviews because like it was so not, I was like an afterthought.
It was a wild thing. I think for me, the only reason I knew some people was just because I had seen them on TikTok. Sure. Like I didn't know anybody. Like going to that for me, like I went to that year. I went to the DNC and I went to VidCon, and I was in both cases. It was me just walking up and I learned then to ask people, what platform do you enjoy the most? Because everyone's algorithm's so different, right? Everyone's algorithm is so wildly different that like I've met people. But for instance, I had him on the list, Brilyn Hollyhand, right?
Oh, you've met him? Is that what you said?
No, I haven't met him. I'm just using him as an example. Brilyn Hollyhand, for those of you guys who don't know, I think he's 19 years old. He's the replacement Charlie
a baby
Kirk.
boy.
Yeah, that is currently being pushed online. And there's a video of him sitting on a private jet talking about how he was beginning a college tour. But there's also been a bunch of other different videos about him, like all over online of him, like hours after Charlie Kirk was, after they said that he had passed, going on and saying that he was excited to pick up the torch and all these different things. And there's been like a lot of infighting. If you only see him on Twitter, you would think he's a failure. If you only see him on Instagram, you would see people calling him a psyop. But if you go to Facebook, this man is killing it. Like he is
really
destroying on Facebook. His Facebook, he has like hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook. The mum-ums and pop-ups of the world, they are pouring in, and they're like, this is the future, this is the truth. And this is one of the things that I've discovered over time from like doing content creation. Like I first got really big on TikTok, right? You started out on YouTube. So there's like on certain platforms, we can be considered huge. On other platforms, we're like literally nobodies. So like people come in and like, oh, I think I've heard about him or I've seen one of his videos or something like that. Like I think I saw them pop up on Reddit one time. But when I opened up Facebook, which I've only recently started to delve back into, like I've discovered that there's a whole world of people that we don't even know. And the Brilyn Hollyhand one's very funny because to me, there is asymmetric warfare happening on different platforms. So with him, currently the Groypers, Nick Fuentes fans, and I would say especially people who are more on the left, like more like the DSA or beyond left, are currently attacking Brilyn Hollyhand because they view him as a way to kind of moderate younger people to make sure that they don't go to what some people would consider political extremes. So that's on Twitter. They're all attacking him because they're like, we don't want anybody on Twitter who might be between the ages of 19 and 24 to listen to this guy. We want to go ahead and paint him a certain way. But on Facebook, where the groypers are not hanging out because they're young and they're not going to go to their mom's Facebook, and also where you don't really see a lot of like internet communists, he's doing really well. Now, how much of that is bots? How much of that is actual? But I start clicking through some of these profiles. I'm like, these look like real people to me for the most part. Like, there's not a lot of shrimp Jesus happening here.
That's so interesting because I hadn't seen the Facebook aspect because on X it's like, as far as there are people that are like, if there was ever a plant, like just like throw water on this guy, he's a plant.
Well, his grandfather's a Republican funder, like a big Republican fundraiser and big financial contributor. Like, his family is really tied in. They're a real estate developer family. They come through a lot of money. Like, yeah, that the whole plant side of things and the things that he's done. Like, he's already been on Ben Shapiro. He's already done Fox News a bunch of times. He has done work with Turning Point USA. Like, there's certain aspects of this where you're like, plant. I agree with you there. And that's what a lot of people are pushing on.
Well, and then I saw some of the pushback was like that I don't know, there was that one video where he was like kind of going back and forth. It was like he was in a rocking chair, but he wasn't. And he was going like very pro-Israel as a way to try to attack Democrats. And then he was getting hit from certain, like, especially like younger people on the right as well. And it's I don't know, it watching it play out is very interesting. That's to your point, a lot of different things happen in a lot of different places, and seeing him in front of these people speaking, as much as he may be a plant, as much as he may be disconnected with that plane situation, it does seem like he has some traction, even if everything and it's so weird because it's like he's a kid. Yeah, like he's 19. I don't want to feel like I'm punching down, but it does seem very phony.
Well, here's the thing is a 19-year-old can't tell me shit because this kid has never had to ask his landlord to return a security deposit. Like, because he hasn't lived long enough to fulfill a full lease for an apartment. There's certain
we're not going to middle-aged men.
I am 41 years old. My knees hurt and I'm covered in wrinkles. There's a certain aspect of the reason why he feels so much like a plant, beyond the clear systemic things that have been set up to try to prop him up, is the fact that he speaks in talking points. He doesn't speak from a place of life experience. And I think that is really, there is such a phoniness to it and a fakeness to it. And what he really reminds me of is there's all across the South, especially in like the 30s and even going up to modern day, there are all these child tent revival preachers, and they all follow a script. And there's the idea of like old people love them because they see a kid parroting their talking points. And they're like, oh my God, look, there's hope for the future. And listen, I'm not saying the left doesn't have this. Democrats have it. They're constantly being yelled at on Twitter. I mean, like you look at Harry Sisson and Olivia Giuliana, like they're always like their job is to make old people feel that Gen Z hasn't strayed too far from boomer liberalism. Like, their job is to be there, and that's very much what Brilyn Hollyhand's job is very much to do.
You're way more involved in that space. I'm like, I am aware of those people, but I'm not super consumers. So, well, and I think I've met both as well in passing at the DNC. And they were plenty nice to me. So I don't know anything as far as like their MO, their whatever.
I look at who's consuming their content, and like there's a section of like content, like who is consuming the content ends up like your target audience is who you sell to a brand, right? So like when you're going to talk about any specific brand, they ask you like, what's the age demographics you go to? What's the genders you're going to? What regions are you reaching out to? And these types of things, right?
Sure.
And so like when I look at who is interacting with their content and I scroll down to the comments, it's all older people saying this young man's like, right, oh, she has it, these type of things. And I see like where those reactions are coming from. And then I see who they're fighting with. And like I'm like, okay, I can kind of tell where the battle lines are being drawn. And that's kind of like where the thing with Brilyn Hollyhand is coming in. I think he's what I'm going to go. I don't like to usually say where I think somebody's going to go, but I think what's going to happen is he's going to probably back away a little bit from Twitter and kind of aim more for the Facebook Fox News side of things and just
Sure.
keep leaning into the grandma and grandpas of the world and trying to keep, them on side and let them think that their form of Bush-Reagan conservatism is the conservatism we're still living through, and not the fact that we have a 79-year-old president who's currently saying that we're invading Chicago. I don't.
You're like, where is it now?
Where is it today?
But when you were talking about he talks and talking points, I'm like, I hear that, but also,
Yeah.
how many fucking politicians have we talked to that you're like, I asked you a question, and you answered the question that I didn't ask because you want to hit your talking point, and to the point. I think the part where it enrages me is because a lot of the access that you get is like 20 minutes at a time, and they know that they can fucking filibuster you. And so it's why I've said, I end up saying no. There was, I don't know, there's been a number of times where I'm just like, what is the fucking point? If I was like, I think from here on out, I have to almost go aggressive in the interviews of like, this is a hostile interview, even if we agree on 75% of things, because what's the fucking point? Like, I don't get it. And so I guess to that point, people elect people that talk in talking points is my thing. So it's like, so there's a career there, phoniness or not.
Well, we live in the clip world now, right? Like we live in clip, like I remember in 2004, remember the Howard Dean scream?
Oh yeah.
Ah, that was the beginning of clip politics. Like, I recently watched a comedian host an award show, and I watched the full unedited monologue. All right, it was fine, wasn't great.
Yeah.
3 great clips though. Gangbusters. He's the greatest comedian of all time. Because that's what we're down to now is like, listen, Trump goes up there, he rambles for 90 minutes. Okay. How many of those, number one, are jokes or statements we've heard him say before? Number two, to the point where, somebody who's been watching him often doesn't notice it anymore, because really what comes out of it is, what are the great clips? What are these moments that other people can then make content of in the cycle? Like, we're stuck in this really weird moment right now where like these little boxes and the algorithms are driving us in a certain direction. And it's like, do we care about something? Jimmy Kimmel, for instance, right? I watched so many when Jimmy Kimmel got canceled for, was it about 72 hours? When the Kimmel thing happened, there were so many people who were like, this is a terrible thing, this is the worst thing that ever happened to free speech. Jake Tapper said it. I think Chris Hayes said it. This is the worst thing that ever happened. I'm like, we're in the same year where people were literally arrested and being faced with deportation for writing op-eds in student newspapers. Like, we're in that same, like, they're currently still fighting. Like, Mahmoud Khalil is currently still fighting to make sure that, like, he isn't deported to, what was it, Uganda? Like, there's like, or South Sudan. Like, we're in crazy area for a lot of different people, but it's not Jimmy Kimmel. And so once it's Kimmel has better SEO than Mahmoud Khalil, or the late, I think it was up in Harvard, who they wanted to deport. Like, Kimmel has better SEO. There's all these different things that like fall into that, and like how the algorithm knows how to interact with them. And so like, I think there's a little bit of that. And then you add into, systemic whatever on top of everything. But that is like kind of what's driving a lot of different stuff. Is like, how well does it play into the algorithm? How well does it play into content?
Well, I wonder how much of it plays into, I feel like I can do something about it, right? Because there have been reports about just how crazy the cancellations were for Disney Plus and Hulu. And so people feeling like they had a way to impact it. How long standing Trump's feud has been with like, late night personalities. The fact that he like Babe Ruth this shit and was like calling it out in advance. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I think that there's probably a number of those things at play, but I don't know. I saw a clip of Gillis that was like, this is horrible, but also where was everyone when it happened, when I got canceled back in 2019?
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's part of one of the things. But the one thing I'll also say though is like online cancellation, the one that people think of when they think of cancel culture, like that isn't real. Like, because I mean, Shane's a perfect example of that. Like, yeah, he was on the upswing on that path, but then he took a completely different path by going on Rogan. He already had his podcast. He had a built out Patreon. He already had a stand-up career. Like, those things didn't take a hit. And if anything, it also boosted him in SEO and search engine optimization, and it got his name out there. And so you see this a lot with like, you saw this a lot with a lot of these different people. But going back to the Riyadh thing, like it's a matter of you might lose that audience, but then you pick up a new one. And so it's like, which one can you then monetize or still work? You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like where that comes into.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get into it. So yeah, obviously there's a difference between the government cracking down and
Like
an
obviously.
online
And I
cancellation.
think they even made that joke in the clip.
But I do think Gillis feels different for me because once again, I'm not super knowledgeable about like his podcast that he had before he got everything, and like we talked about the situation on the show, but he was someone that it felt like he genuinely could have been canceled, where he had to like build up his career brick by brick. It wasn't like Dave Chappelle acting like he got canceled because he made yet another special where he just like swung down on trans people. And he was like, oh, I'm getting or like just anyone that's like on that upper echelon where it's like you're incentivized essentially at this point that that there's like there's an issue where based off of your fan base and where things are, like this is a winning strategy for you. Whereas he got like old clipped and had to like trying to build up, and I don't know. I mean, seeing his rise and who he is as a person, seeing Shane Gillis in general has made me like rethink a number of things throughout the years as far as like how I perceive people, especially when I'm given just little bits at a time.
Gotcha. So that's what's crazy is I actually know Shane. So like
I've
really? Known him through because he came up through the Philadelphia comedy scene, and he was like one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen. Like even early on, and like when he got up on the stage, like he's a very, very, very funny guy. It's been very funny to me, especially with Riyadh and with everything that's been going on about Trump and whether or not somebody's staying in Austin, any of those different things. Like it's been hilarious to me watching the internet kind of prescribe people that I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure you've had that from like content creators you've known over the years, or like have met in passing or something like that, where you're like, oh, this is really crazy that everyone is saying that it's because of this psychological thing, or you know what I mean? Like they start like coming up with the whole, there's a reason they did this, similar to what I said about Bill Burr earlier in this podcast. Like inside of that, like there's this moment of that, and it's like I know Shane. We barely talk these days. Like we text every now and then, but it's been very, very interesting because when the cancellation happened, I said it to my buddy. I'm like, he's going to be even stronger than he ever could have been being on SNL. Because there's a certain, like, when you go on SNL and you do stuff, there's like a certain pathway you walk down. And like, he was at the beginning of like, while Shane is a great traditional stand-up comedian, he also had built a really, really big podcast. He was one of the first people I met and knew who was like, yeah, we're building this thing called a Patreon. I was like, that sounds like I don't like that. So we're doing sponsorships. I'm like, I don't like that. Now here I am with a Patreon and sponsorships. And I'm like, this is, gotta keep them happy. And so it's like that sort of like thing of like that twist and that change over time. Like now he has built up for himself a very strong fan base who feels like they know him, but he's also built up, fuck you money. Like he, everybody out there is saying, there's this old saying about like what the monetary secret to happiness is 20%. Have you ever heard that?
The what?
The monetary value of happiness is 20%.
What does that mean?
Because all right, so for instance, if you get 20% more in your paycheck, you'll think that if you had 20% more, you'll be happy because then you can catch up to the bills that you already have. But each time you go up 20%, you create, more money, more problems. If all I care about, I want 20% more, and then I can cover my rent, and then I can buy a PlayStation. Okay, but now I need to get I need to pay for PlayStation Plus, and I need to buy video games. Well, if 20% more, I can get those different things. Oh, and then I'll get a bigger TV. Okay, well now but obviously I need cable, I need FiOS, I need this type of thing. You know what I mean? And it's like to the point where eventually you have so much money. Well, I have a yacht, and you got to gas the yacht, and you need to pay the captain. And it's the same thing that's happened with my show. It's like it started out me and my wife yelling into a snowball microphone, and now I have a producer and all these lights. Like the expense goes up and up. But I think from knowing Shane over the years, is like there is a certain point where you're like, what more do I need? And I think that is really what spoke when he was talking about like, why would I go to Riyadh? has been more along those lines of just like, guys, what are we doing this for? Like at a certain point, you make so much money, you can't do anything with it, right?
Well, because I don't know. I feel like everyone that I've met has kind of abided by the 3 to 5x rule, which is they always feel like they'd be good if they had 3 to 5x of what they're making at that moment.
3 to 5x.
Oh
That's
yeah,
a crazy number. That's
yeah.
a
Just be
wild number.
like, oh, I'd be fucking so good. Like my life would be perfect. Like, and the problem is, to your point, where it connects is that number constantly changes, and so I think then it is a very true thing of people having money. It doesn't ruin them. It kind of exposes what was there, like what they were capable of, where they had limits, what principles they actually stand by. And this is also not to be like, because something that bugs me is like that you have to be pure and perfect, and like I think that we do need to have room for people that to learn and to grow and to evolve. I wouldn't fucking be here if people didn't allow me to have that grace. And so that's why I when I talk about like the Patel thing, I'm like that reaction and that stuff, that wasn't it. But also like he did do something, he changed. And then here's as someone that's covered controversies and then been and stuff, it's rough because everyone projects your true, like they make you what you want to be. Like people are saying like, oh, you only saying this because you got caught, right? For some people that's going to be absolutely true, and then for other people you're locking them into a fucking box and pushing them away. And once again, it's like, I don't know, I'm not around that person, so I get very conflicted about it. And so I don't know, maybe that's the positive of my show over the years, becoming more political and less about internet drama where everyone kind of almost gets off on piling on.
Well, I mean, that was the old that old South Park episode, right? Where they did with Britney Spears, where you build somebody up and then you chop them down. I mean, how many? Look, we're seeing it happen right now with Pedro Pascal. You know, we saw that kind of happen where there was like last year, it was like Pedro Pascal was everywhere, so he got booked everywhere, and now people are sick of him, and it seems like there's stuff in the background happening. But we've seen this happen with like so many different people over time. I think I think you know, you've convinced me that all these Riyadh comedians are going to be fine. Because
most are, yeah,
because of just time, of just like those types of things, and you're right on that side. But in general, I think the thing that's been most shocking to me has been in the past where we've watched audiences turn their back on, especially very charismatic, very people who are really good at entertaining. Is they will find another audience. They will always find another audience, and it's just a matter then of like, what will that audience then turn them into? Because we saw that happen. Like, I look at RFK Jr. We recently did a show about him and looking at his life. Like, what was crazy to me and was a difficult thing to say was like, for like 30 years, the dude was like a hero. Like, when it comes to RFK, especially of like, I mean, he like went onto a military base and to like stop them bombing the island of Vieques and like got arrested for it. Like what he did with the River Keepers, all these different things that he did like over this time was like, oh, these are all very like heroic, great things. And then one day he was like, by the way, I think vaccines are full of mercury and they're causing autism. People are like, hey man, drop that one. He was like, no, just like Dave Chappelle and trans people. We're like, hey man, we loved 97% of your special. There are like 2 lines in there though. Like I just so you know, you've been gone for like 10 years. Maybe don't do those trans lines. And he was like, that's my whole personality now. You know, J.K. Rowling. We look at who she's like partnering around with these days. Like there's all these different people where it's like, and I don't think that there is a way like that we could ever stop this from happening. It's just something that I think as people we need to just be aware of. Like, oh, there's the turn. Like it just happens.
Yeah, and it's always it's like the weird balance of like I don't know, accountability versus completely closing the door. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I am a perpetually tired person, just trying to keep my head above water with the insane things that are happening right now.
Because we're all crashing out, Phil. We're all crashing out.
Play the song.
Yeah, play the song. We need to get a song. But no, I think I saw that on a recent episode you were talking about creator safety. So content creators are canceling on going to stuff like TwitchCon or things along those lines, and people are afraid about being out in public.
Yeah, so I think we were going to try and cover it Monday. It ended up not getting it done because we've been trying to get the show out earlier and earlier. It's a whole YouTube thing, but that we're navigating. But no, I mean, yeah, we have there's some creators that said that they weren't going to TwitchCon. I don't know how connected that was to the aftermath of Charlie Kirk. It was, I think, more connected to things that had happened there. I saw a clip of Hassan Piker saying that I believe he's not going to TwitchCon, but it's because he's worried that if there was someone that was going to do something to him, that there are like innocent bystanders there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time. I mean, I don't do a lot of live events anyway because I'm just perpetually tired, and I don't know, if I'm going to do something, I also kind of want to, I'm a control freak a lot of the time. Not just doing anything in person. I don't know. Do you have anything that you're doing or not doing now?
I mean, well, right after the Charlie Kirk murder, I was supposed to do a political comedy show, and I don't know if it was the venue or if the showrunners, it got pulled. Just because in the light and in the moment and in the extreme aftermath of it, everyone was looking around just like, we don't know what this is, if this is starting something, and like that's kind of where everyone's view was in those moments. Completely understood it. But I've seen more hesitancy from the political content creator side of like safety, security, and those things. I thought Hassan specifically was talking about in the aftermath about, look, Charlie Kirk had 10 security guards, and that the safety factor there. When I did VidCon last year, like there was really good security at the building. Once I was on the floor, I could go on the floor as myself, and it was like fine. Yeah. But like if I had something at a certain time, they were like would not let me cross a rope unless I had like 2 off-duty LAPD officers with me, and I was like, this is very funny. But in general, though, I think that like I've tried to explain to a lot of people over the years when being a content creator that like our brand safety and our physical safety are like interconnected. Like it's this really weird thing. Like people look at big name actors or sports stars, and a lot of them are living in like gated communities, or they live in New York or LA where there's like already kind of a culture of like protection around there. And you have like certain ways of like how you feel. Like your average content creator is living in middle of nowhere, Texas, Iowa, Pennsylvania. Like we're people who are just kind of out there. And so like, I think that once you get to a certain point, you can, and if you're making a certain amount of money, you can kind of like hole up in your house. But like, I still had to go to the grocery store. And so like, to me, whether I'm getting on stage or I'm going to the grocery store, like that's the same amount of weird recognition and fear. The only difference is if I'm getting on stage or I'm doing an event, I'm typically posting, I'm walking through this door right over here at 4 p.m. on July 21st. You know what I mean? Like that is weird. And I had last year, some guy kept posting all these crazy conspiracy theories about me, and I got a bunch of death threats. And it was right as I was about to promote my stand-up tour that I did. And so that was terrifying to me because I was like sitting there. It was like literally like 3 days before I was going to put the big, poster of like, here's every place I'm going to be all over the country. And then the guys are like, the blood of liberty, the tree of liberty needs to be fed by the blood of the evil. I was like, oh no, I'm going to just, we're going to promote Day Of. And it worked out. I had better audience that way.
Yeah, the political aspect is definitely a newer one for me to wrap my head around over the last 4 years, but then obviously more recently. Because in the past, I don't know, to the point of like sharing where I'm going. VidCon, I always felt safe. I always brought my own security though. When I did that, especially as they were getting like they were balancing between new and becoming like very big mainstream. Because I think was it Viacom bought them? I don't know. Yeah, so I would always do that. But I mean, I've had instances where in LA, someone found and was, I don't know, through what security lapse, was able to actually like walk into my office and walk into there's like an episode out there where someone literally comes into my room and I'm like, hello? And something was wrong there. Yeah, that was scary. And then I don't usually even post what I'm doing, especially if I'm not with my family, because there was one time where I went to Fantastic Fest in Texas. And I posted that, and someone someone broke into my house while my wife and kid were there, and so that was really horrifying. So I don't know. I don't think that's what plays into me not doing live events as much, right? Because, but it is something that I think I've just been thinking about the security aspect of it for a while for different reasons.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, I feel like, but I feel like a lot of the like for general creators. The scariest thing is for like people that think of themselves as fans, that it crosses a different thing, right? That's
Yeah.
where you see, those horrible stories where someone ends up getting killed.
Yeah, I talk about headcanon a lot, and because I think a
Mm.
lot of times when you see people turn on creators, it's because they think they've betrayed something that that creator never even did, or like
Hmm.
you get aspects of people, like whether it be through virtue signaling or vice signaling or these different things, where you think like, oh, this person would never cross that line, and then that person does, and not even realizing there's somebody out there that thinks there's the opposite, has been a big
Yeah.
side for more of like online comment section attacks. But for physical attacks and those things, I mean, I feel like almost since the beginning of YouTube, like as we started to have YouTube celebrities, there was that girl so many years ago. Remember, she was like a singer. She
Oh,
had like
Christina Grimmie.
100,000. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and like that's been like from the. It feels like very much from like the beginning of that. I think right now we're in just a hyper aware, because at the end of the day, while there's the political aspect of Charlie Kirk, the number one thing he was a content creator. Like
Mm.
he was a content machine who was aiming at all algorithms at all time. I think a lot about how the people's reaction to what happened to him, and why there was such a disconnect between audiences. And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier about the algorithm, I never knew about Charlie Kirk's like Christian sermon stuff. I'd never seen it. And I didn't realize that there's people who only ever saw that aspect of him. The algorithm only ever fed me Charlie Kirk rage bait of him
Hmm.
saying things that the algorithm knew I would interact with, because he was saying things I didn't like. And so there's other people who only interacted with his content of him saying things that they enjoy hearing. And so that aspect of it was like kind of shocking to me. And that I think that's like a little extra in there that I think has been very confusing to people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, different realities, different bubbles. I when you were talking about audience creator disconnect, because I mean, my whole situation was very just talk about the situation,
Mhm.
the in the sense of like, here are the facts, denounce violence, and kind of left it at that. And what was very interesting to see was kind of the disconnect between audiences and the creators they were watching and how they were talking about it, right? Some being accused of like whitewashing Charlie
Mhm.
Kirk's messaging and stuff. And but some of it that threw me off was when people were going after certain creators because in the immediate aftermath they had like certain reactions. And I think what a lot of it came from, I think a lot of these creators putting them being in the same spaces, put themselves in the other, and like, they put themselves in Charlie Kirk's shoes, in the sense of like realizing how vulnerable everyone is and
Yes.
how a space that they might not have thought was dangerous is in fact. And so I don't know. I think that's where I'm trying to. I try to give I, when I try to see people and have an understanding of who they are, and like I try to base it off of a a longer tale, rather than the immediate moment. So that's, I don't know. I'm even me talking about it now, I'm like still digesting it for a lot of
Well,
people.
well, can I tell you what happened with I have a 24 to 48 hour rule, as
Mm.
I'm more of a comedy commentator than I am a news person. A lot of people, will lump me in with news because it's typically what I'm talking about. I'm usually talking about something that's happening right now. But when it comes to especially mass shootings or particularly violent events, I usually have a 24 to 48 hour rule myself, because the story changes. As we've known, every mass shooting, right? There's three shooters. There's actually one.
Hmm.
He's this guy that when we all have to play the game that we've all been playing for the last 30 years. What's the shooter's politics? What's the shooter look like? Well, all these different things. And I hate that game. I've been sick of that game my entire life. But there was a lot of people making content, and so I finally felt I needed to say something, because God forbid a white man not make a statement in America. So I sat
We
down
needed
and I made a
more.
video, and a big part though was about the algorithm and about how we weren't ready to see what happened to him. And it hit our feed so viscerally, and it hit our feed so shockingly at angles we didn't want to see. And I got a lot of comments because my audience, a lot of my audience feels very strongly about what's been happening in Gaza. And so many
Right.
of their feeds have been full of war footage. I've had a lot of my fans who know I feel strongly about Ukraine. So again, war footage. So, and then other people, as an older millennial, they're like, "Oh, I watch Faces of Death. I watch these things." I'm like, "Yes, for the 10, 15, 20% of us who see that every day and who grew up on this, it might fit inside of a slot and we can compartmentalize it. But there's a lot of people who are not used to seeing things like that and seeing that happen. And like their reaction to it is shocking to some people because it's a traumatic response.
Yeah. Hey, as we try to close this out, I think that as we're testing these things, I know we said we wanted to talk about a thing that we're crashing out in real life, and then also something that we're hopeful for.
We're hopeful for?
So,
yeah, I know.
So,
After talking to this, I mean, I'm sorry. This has been next time we're going to have a happier list of things we're going to crash.
I don't know about that.
Out.
You can't make promises like that.
I'm going to try. Phil. I'm going to listen. I don't know who's making it to the end. We're going to find out together.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So wait, I'll let you start. What are you crashing out about?
Oh, I'm crashing out because I'm running my own Facebook now. There was somebody who's been impersonating me on Facebook for like the last 3 years, and I was letting him do it because I didn't care, because I didn't want to run my own Facebook. And then I looked up the one day, and they were pushing a bunch of Mahawk stuff. They were like, Alex Pearlman, big RFK guy. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Oh, wow.
So we've been working to take him down, and then also like uploading my own content, which means I'm now looking at Facebook, and like you shouldn't gleam the orb that directly. That's been rough for me, is seeing... Because again, I've all of my feeds everywhere, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of them have been highly curated over the last 20, 25 years. I've been set up to only show me things that I either enjoy to an extreme intent or enrage me to an extreme intent, and then watch people go, this you, during the videos. So like... just getting raw pop-up feeds of them being like, Joey Marinino is correct. And me going, no, that's not, you don't know who that is. That's not good. Nana, come down from the ledge. Or seeing the AI videos. It's all been, I'm like, that's been too much. And that actually scares me to a level. I thought I had a better grasp on internet reality until I reopened Facebook. And then also found out how many of my friends still use Facebook every day.
Oh, really?
I thought we all agreed. I want to let you know, the normies, they're on their own world on Facebook. And it's been wild. They have opinions, and they're sharing them with their whole face. And
with their whole face, their government name.
Listen, on Twitter, you put an anime profile pic up or a marble statue, and then you say your crazy shit. On Facebook, you have your kid's face next to you, and I go, that's too much. That is too much, Facebook.
I've only recently been getting a little involved in Facebook. In it's the same thing. I had someone that was posting for us, but the problem is when for me, I like to be very hands off, and I end up being like pretty trusting. And what I ended up finding out a few months ago is that I guess the people that we were paying like $3,000 a month, which I didn't know we were paying $3,000 a month. I thought literally like the deal was it's 50-50. And I was like, cool. I don't want to ever fucking think about Facebook. It's not a thing that I care about. Don't know anything about it. Like, it was the dumbest deal I've ever fucking done. It would have even been dumb at 50-50, but it was extra dumb spending $3,000 a month. They were just taking the show. And I mean, maybe props to them for fucking getting a bag for me for a little bit, and just putting like a follow button underneath the long form version of the show. They weren't even clipping the thing, or they would like clipping was minimal. And so anyway, took it over. Have been posting there here and there, but haven't been able to do it enough because my thing that I've been crashing out about is I have not been able to find a social media person for the company. And it's not like I want someone to mimic me, right? I don't want Philip DeFranco is a big Maha guy stuff popping up, but someone that understands like clipping and timing and specific like SEO is so overused, but like the right captions and the right ways to collab and stuff like that. And everyone that I've been getting has been like someone that came from a marketing or an ad agency, and they look good on paper, and then you put them into the chronically online space, and you're like, oh, this is not the right thing. And so now what we think that we realized is that we were looking for a social media strategist when we need the name sounds so stupid, a content amplification specialist, which sounds like
that sounds just so corporate.
It sounds so corporate. But I'm like, maybe I was like, because my thing would be like, chronically online motherfucker that is too involved in the news that also watches my show and knows how to clip
Yeah.
it. Because we can't.
I need
We are
22 hours of screen time a day.
But also, like,
That's
we're
what I need.
so my other podcast, In Good Faith, really solid numbers. It's growing, like, but we cannot clip to save our lives. It's like the worst time. Sorry to everyone on the team that's been trying. It's like,
Well,
it's like I watch it. I'm like, I would have clicked off of this video in 3 seconds.
That's the thing. It's like I'm always a little hesitant with clipping because the YouTube editors and long form editors are looking for something different, and
Yes.
short form video is based on a completely different algorithm.
Mhm.
Like I've been having problems coming over to YouTube because YouTube gives me analytics that make me want to community guidelines myself because it's too much. There's like they're too much. They're like, hey, at 17 minutes you rubbed your nose this certain way and 5 people stopped watching. I'm like, I don't need to know that. I don't want to know that. And there's a big difference in like vibes posting and like doing the analytic following Dead-Eyed Mr. Beast posting and like A/B testing, all these different things. Like that's all been. I've been crashing about this for way too long. This has been long form content in me. Oh, Bubby. Oh, Bubby.
Well,
Let me
it's
tell
also
you,
a weird. It's a weird time to be in there because, especially on YouTube, the numbers. Like I saw YouTubers going into like chronic depression because I think it was like on August 28th, YouTube appears to have stopped counting views from people that have ad blocker. And everyone was like, "My career's over," and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh."
But because also, but really, what they're doing by targeting people who watch YouTube on their laptop with ad blocker and not they're literally just taking out every millennial creator. That's what they're doing because millennials watch YouTube on their laptop or their desktop. They aren't as like, yeah, some of them watch on their phones, but most of us are like, oh, wow, gonna sit down for a big YouTube moment. Like that, so like the 60-year-olds who watch it on the TV, and then the Gen Z and younger who watch it on the iPad. There's this weird middle ground. So like that hit me hard when I felt really good about like the upswing and the numbers we were having, and then they were like, "Hey, it went down." I'm like, "Was it me?" And they're like, "Maybe."
Well, people started saying like they saw,
yeah,
people said they saw like a 10 to 30% dip, and I'm like, I was always of two minds. I'm like, okay, let's figure out what the hell is actually happening. Are we actually getting lower viewership? Actually, no, because all the AdSense is the same. But then, and then seeing other people like doing deeper dives, and I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. But then the other thing is like, okay, well, YouTube's not going to necessarily change, so we just got to get good. And that was where I was mentioning earlier, like we were like, okay, well, let's start posting earlier. Let's start thinking more thoughtfully. I don't know. There's a lot on YouTube though. I'm excited about. They're doing a lot of big changes to live that I think are going to be really, really interesting. And I don't know. I keep adding stuff to my plate. I shouldn't add another live thing, but I love live. I love interacting with an audience outside of just VOD comments. But specifically with the A/B testing, I don't know if we're definitely not going to have it on this new channel, but I think soon A/B testing titles. I know that from a consumer standpoint, people are like a little angry about the idea.
I tried it. I didn't love it. I don't love A/B testing because like my thing is like I like just making something and being done. I don't like once I post it, I like to just be done with it myself.
There's certain things that I just like. There's certain moments in time where I want to be able to navigate it, and so recently there was a good example of I didn't know if the more pop culture story should be the title and thumbnail for my show, or if it was like more the Trump Epstein stuff, because it was I think it was the video where it was like they should have the votes, right? It looks like the 218th vote is coming in. It was before whatever's fucking happening today.
Sorry, Mike Johnsoning. Yeah.
But I was like, and I didn't do it there, but I was like, okay, in those moments I want to test it, but I understand from a viewer perspective, people could get concerned of like, did I watch this video already? Although you should have the red bar. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we're gonna have to figure out together. But I'm despite the YouTube drop that people saw, I'm more hot on YouTube than ever.
Oh wow! All right.
Yeah.
Good
But then
know.
wait,
I'm hot on whatever TikTok is going to be because I can't wait to find out what an algorithm controlled by Larry Ellison looks like. That is
maybe it won't be, because right now I think it's like we're looking at like, okay, what could the change be? Is it like from what's the bar from what to X, right? it's like as far as a change of a platform, right?
When you say,
Twitter to
oh,
X, Twitter
okay,
to
got
X is like the fucking bizarro world change.
yeah, Nazi bar.
Like
It's the Nazi bar metaphor. It's 100% like Twitter to X is the Nazi bar, like completely. You went there, you're like, this is a great place. It's a brewery. They have really good nachos. And then you brought your buddy the one day and you're like, hey man, there's like a lot of really fucking, this is just Nazis. It's just wall to wall Nazis. And it's crazy. Like their drinks are Nazis. That guy just called himself Mecha Hitler. Like there's a
oh no, that's the robot that of the bar owner.
Yeah. He fired all of the bartenders and replaced them with Tesla robots that all cannot stop Kyling each other. But he keeps calling it a Roman. He said, "Oh, you mean his heart goes out to you?" We all really glossed over the fact that Elon went like full bore, and we moved on to other things.
I don't know. I mean, hey, there's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, and that's what this show's going to do. But I want to end it on something that I'm hopeful for.
Yes, hopeful for. Give it to me.
Okay, can I tell you what I'm hopeful for today?
Yeah.
Because it was just announced yesterday. There is going to be a second Simpsons movie. That's because can I tell you why? I'm not even hopeful because I don't even watch The Simpsons like that anymore. I'm just hopeful because I saw the date 2027. And like at this point, I am looking forward to like trying to picture a future because every day feels like, maybe tomorrow's the end. Like that's how where I am. So anybody who comes in like, listen, we are going to have brunch on January 21st, 2029. And I'm like, it's insane that you think we're going to be here. And that type of hope is what I want to have. And seeing that the good people at Fox and the writers at The Simpsons, and the writers at The Simpsons who famously have been accurate about so many things and so many predictions, are predicting that not only will theaters be in business, but audiences will be allowed to watch comedy in a theater and be able to also congregate in groups. That who knows? And so I think that's a hope for me. That's a hope I found today.
Wow, I love that for you. Yeah, so I mean, because I feel like if Grand Theft Auto doesn't come out next year, a part of the population will just be like, I'm over, I'm done.
What are people going to comment? What are people going to comment if Grand Theft Auto does come out? Grand Theft Auto 6, because how often has every comment been, oh, we got fascism before Grand Theft Auto 6. Oh, we got, a new Epstein guy before Grand Theft Auto 6. We didn't even cover the new Epstein guy.
The new Epstein guy? Wait, what are you talking about?
The New York financier with the sex dungeon?
No. What are you talking?
There's a new Epstein guy, Phil.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about?
Are you saying that is there another guy named Epstein?
No. His name's not Epstein. I don't remember what his name is, but
he's involved in the Epstein.
He is not involved with Epstein at all. He is not involved with Epstein. He is a New York financier whose assistant would collect women that he brought to New York, where he would electrically torture them in a soundproof dungeon. And he has been arrested, and he has ties to George Soros. So it's like it's got a little bit of everything for everybody.
I feel like you're making this up.
I'm not. That's what's wild is I'm not. There's another Epstein guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was sent to me in a group chat.
I like that the end of this is just completely off the rails because I was gonna be like, my thing that I'm hopeful for.
I'm sorry. His name is Howard Rubin. Howard Rubin.
So his name isn't Epstein. Is the fucking thing that I'm trying to get in my head.
New York financier. Sex trafficker is an Epstein guy now.
Okay,
that's what it means.
That's not as random as I thought you were. You were like, there's another guy. His name's Eddie Epstein.
Oh no,
and he also happens.
Well, you heard about Harvey Epstein.
Wait, who's that?
You don't know who Harvey Epstein is?
No, I am aware of Harvey Epstein, but it's because of SNL. That's why.
Yes, 100%. Well, and then we all had the same realization. Harvey Epstein is a real person who is actually a politician in New York, which is wild. What are you hopeful about, Phil?
That I'm gonna get through this week and be able to start book 7 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. It's been my escapism for the last month. And I've been listening to it while I'm going on runs, so I know I'm missing a lot. So I'm gonna probably just marathon through it again. But it's like over 100 hours of content.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I just heard of this book. My wife has it, and she's been meaning to read it.
Well, because
So, yeah,
I've been nerding out about like the Bobiverse series is like good science fiction escapism, which I went to after I listened to Project Hail Mary, and then I need to read through what was it, the Three Body Problem. So I don't know. I'm on a big science fiction kick, which I think is that's just the way that I escape right now, because I used to be like really into listening to World War II history, and now that just makes me depressed and I draw too many fucking parallels, and I was like, just tell me about a man in his boxers trying to save what's left of humanity with his talking cat. Let me let me do that.
I listened to a podcast about Benito Mussolini the other day, and I had to turn it off because I just started yelling spoilers. Like that was like spoilers. No. Oh, and then he just declared everyone Antifa and then said that they have to go to prison. Okay, spoilers. No. So,
but on that happy note, if you
like and subscribe.
Who's still listening at this point? But if you like and subscribe on YouTube, hit us with 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we should be here next week, unless I don't know, the timeline has advanced more than we expected.
Every Wednesday morning, a nice early morning drop. So that way you can be depressed in the middle of the week. No, we're going to make it happy. We're going to make it light. We just had to get this one out of the system first. Thank you guys so much for following, and we will see you soon.
Bye.